We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Yeah, just kidding. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna talk about the Danish writer Dennis Jürgensen in this video. Uh, I mean, this is a guy I read everything he wrote. 61 books. I've seen his movies. I know him personally. I know the director of Final Hour personally, Martin Smith. So I mean, these guys are my friends, and yeah, I don't mean to say anything insulting, but I respect Dennis and Martin as horror directors. So let's keep it to Dennis. I respect the guy as a horror fan. You know, I like his horror fiction, which comprises maybe around like 10 of his books or something, with elements here and there of horror in all his work. This is the guy who made Love at First Hiccup, so which is also has some international attention. And but I just want to say I don't really like him as a human being. I think he because I mean that's where I got a hard time identifying with the guy. It's the same with Dan Tyrell, the Danish writer, famous Danish writer Dan Tyrell. They're both from around here where I grew up, so they sort of represent that area of Denmark as well, near Copenhagen, like the suburbs of Copenhagen. Uh, you call it Storkøbenhavn, the larger area of Copenhagen where we grew up. And well, I'm fine with the horror fiction. I'm totally fine with that. Uh, but once they like show how they are like as human beings, I just think that they're pretty disgusting people. Uh, I'll stick to Danish. I mean, this guy. There's just so much material which is disgusting propaganda. For example, in his science fiction novel, his only science fiction novel, which is called something like Machines don't experience skin or something. They don't machines don't feel skin. Maskiner sanser ikke hud. They are I mean there's a doctor character who is like a complete douchebag. You know, he really likes to describe these kind of like really annoying, disgusting people, which is something his when you look at Poe and Lovecraft, that is what they did not do. They did not waste a lot of time on disgusting, undignified, unworthy, you know, where people without honor, people who are without honor, on mental, you know, intellectual honesty, integrity, and stuff. You know, I'm not expecting the guy to be on that level of Poe and Lovecraft, but they are some of his heroes, as I understand. He wrote at least two direct tributes to Lovecraft and a lot of other inspiration for Lovecraft. And he says he likes Poe and wrote a tribute book to Poe as well. So, uh, that's what I just really don't like about him. That he for example, like in this science fiction novel, he spends a lot of time like, I mean, why should we care about all these disgusting people? And then in the Trill, you know, the the allegedly serious crime fiction. Then there's this guy, he's called him the man with the birthmark, manden med modermærket. It's called a mother mark in Danish, birthmark in English. So yeah, and it says antinatalism on my wall, by the way. Yeah, if you're wondering. Two places. This is the antinatalism zone. And you know what? Uh, he just they say he's like a 12-year-old, but I think he's more like a 5-year-old. You know, he wants to go along with this hoax. You know that you know the government wants something good for the people, the state wants something good for the people. You know, the state is there for the benefit of people. I mean, he's going along with all these ridiculous notions. Just like a complete mainstream idiot, and so he's getting in some horror fans. Like, okay, we're reading this because we're horror fans, but there's just so much disgusting propaganda in his work. It's hard to think it's only coming from him. I mean, of course, when you write like that, I mean, he does admit he has some people to help him and stuff. I mean, that's what it was like. I wrote an article for the Antinatalism magazine, and half of the article is by the editor, basically. So it like appears that I have like double my intellect. Because, but I mean, this is uncredited, right? I mean, that's how it works sometimes. Uh, so it's just yeah, I don't know if anybody gives a shit, but it's just personally, I'm disgusted with his work. Uh, so it spans over a time period of 1980 to 2021, 41 years and 61 books. And also there's a book about him, which is quite revealing also, because of course he denies that there's any message and all that bullshit that you learn in university. To not look at the message but look at the text. But of course that's just bullshit. That's just gaslighting, because um, the guy. I mean, when you look at him as a his life, when you look at his life, he's like he just went out of school. He didn't even go to high school. And he went out of school and he broke through with literary success when he was 20. After writing a couple of years. And he says in interviews he doesn't he never lived with a woman, not that matters, but what I think does matter in terms of antinatalism is that he doesn't have any children, but he's still just on autopilot with the marriage and reproduce what he even calls family values at one. But he's just like, okay, it's not me, you know, it's just entertainment. But no, it's not entertainment, it's propaganda. So it's really just he's just playing along this, which is particularly disgusting in a country like Denmark, because he's playing along with this, the dumb Dane, the stupid Dane, who likes football and cheese sandwich, Ostermad. And he's really just going along with that, which is really disgusting, in my opinion. And insulting to the intelligence of the reader. Yeah, yeah, I think that, I mean, this guy is a piece of shit, in my opinion. He goes from, like, in the 80s, like doing this, like, oh, yo, we're so free and cool, and then to downright fascism today in his crime fiction. Uh, yeah, and what I wanted to say about this guy with the birthmark, is he's an interesting character in the thriller, because he's a soldier he's a pretty cool guy. I thought I was, oh, finally someone I can identify with. And then he as the so-called omniscient um, author, the omniscient narrator, he even says, yeah, so-called omniscient narrator, he even says bad things about the character, so he's like breaking the identification. So he's saying, he's even saying, oh, remember, this is not a good guy, this is a bad guy. I mean, he's like saying that he's saying, like, and so like it's I mean, it's just, it's so stupid and insulting. I mean, I wouldn't even repeat what he wrote there. It's so disgusting. So I mean, I'm fucking done with that guy. Unless he makes horror fiction again, because, I mean, granted, I mean, when I look at my own writings, of course it gets pretty pathetic sometimes, because essentially we're not in a free society, where we're inside the prison of Denmark, and of course that's very horrible and depressing. So it's going to be either you're psychophantic or narcissistic or something. So I mean, okay, so of course there can be some, like, slip ups here and there with like millions of words, and then I'm so, like, just saying, okay, you fucked up in that sentence or something. Yeah, all right, fine. So if he and Martin makes great horror fiction again, I mean, I'm great. I'm gonna read that. But really, I really don't have any interest in that guy, outside of the horror community. Uh, um, so when it comes down to it, in the thriller, that's 6 books, thriller, the series. Then he has this, like, Danish Jack the Ripper. I thought that was interesting. That was the best part. Where he describes this Danish Jack the Ripper, who he calls Flinton. That means the Ripper in Danish. But during the Second World War, during the occupation of Denmark, there was this Jack the Ripper in Denmark. I thought that was very interesting and very very well written. Yeah, well, okay, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, fuck you, Danish, fucking piece of shit. And I hope you get what you deserve for your crimes.